Welcome to Gone Traveling Podcast. We are looking at the BKT EuroCup, and we wish you a Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. With me talking about the road to greatness is Sergio Llebres over in Spain. Sergio, Merry Christmas. How are you doing?
Hi, David. Merry Christmas to you all. I'm great. This For this last week of the year, we don't have BKT EuroCup, but we do have the podcast, this episode, and we're going to have a different and special episode. And I think it's a very good idea. Hope everyone enjoys because it's different and it's going to be fun.
We're playing Santa Claus. We're dishing out
Yeah.
gifts here today. And so we each came up with five different gifts, and we'll go back and forth. And we split up the group so we didn't have to worry about going to different teams. Sergio has the teams from Group A, and I have the teams from Group B, and we're giving out five gifts each. And yeah, before we actually start with our gifts for the teams, actually, I want to give to the Euro Cup officials an early gift, and it's strong nerves as they start in the coming rounds to work out the permutations with all the tiebreakers, and point differential, and who
Yeah.
can who can who can secure a playoff spot here, and they need to win by this many points. They're going to need some strong nerves to try to figure out all those permutations. Not probably not for the next 4 or 5 rounds, but soon, pretty soon they're gonna start coming. So since you have Group A and Group A, and A comes before B in the alphabet,
Yeah.
I will let you start. And we haven't talked about this amongst each other, so I have no idea what your gifts are, and you have no idea what my gifts are. So go ahead and you start with a team from Group A.
Yeah, we have the realest Christmas spirit with all the surprises here, and I think the first gift always has to go for the most needed people or teams in this case. So there's no other option that Trefl Sopot here. There are plenty of gifts to give them, especially considering that they are the only team to still win the in a EuroCup game after 12 rounds. And I think they could win one of those early games that had a tight finish, and also the exit of David De Julius, who was their best player. So for the polls, I would give them as a Christmas present specifically a piece that would increase their group's consistency in the paint, not only in scoring. I'm trying to be like the most precise possible here because um, it's very easy to say, yeah, they need more points. Basketball is not all about that. And reviewing some numbers and what they are lacking on most, besides the finals in the games and precise moments of the game. I think the Greeks are sorry, the Poles are the worst rebounders in Group A in the this year, especially in the defensive side. Not so much on the on offense, but Trefl Sopot concedes almost the half of the rebounds. So 28% of possible rebounds in the area are for the rivals, and I think second chances in basketball are and in life are very important. So I think they need like a profile, a player profile that sticks in the paint and gives them some consistency they don't really have, and I think the rest of the players could worry about other things. Maybe that's not only a solution for Trefl Sopot at this date. We're in late December, but if I could give them one gift, it would be a center that could provide some rebounding and protection of the rim because they are lacking in that, and teams are getting profit of that. Yeah.
All right. My turn. And
Return.
we haven't talked about Lead Cabela's. Shocking Valencia.
Thank God we did.
So we're actually going to. So actually, I wrote about this before actually they got their win. And I want to give them a 3-point shooter. They were actually before the Valencia game. They were last in 3-point shooting percentage with I think 30.8. I've corrected it. They're now 30. They're 18th at 30.8%, 30.3 before. They had losses by 6, 4, 7, 7, and 5. So tight games, 3-pointer. You hit 2 threes, and then you could get a couple more wins. And Valencia in the Valencia game, Danilius Lavrenicius had 4 of 8 3-pointers. He's not the 3-point shooter you want, right? Until that game, he had been 3 of 10 for the season. So I actually have a guy that they could actually maybe go try to find. Zach Rollins, 29-year-old playing for Kaya 2030 Skopje in North Macedonia. Last 2 seasons, he played in Denmark and Bulgaria, shooting 38 and 36% threes. He's a D2 player, 29-year-old. This season, he has 6 games with at least 4 3-pointers, and shooting 44%, 15 points per game, almost 5 rebounds, and 1.5 steals. Also gives them a little more defensive ball pressure. Playing in Skopje, playing North Macedonia, maybe not super expensive. Obviously, Cabela's might not have as much money. And if he's a 3-point guy, a 3-point shooter, probably drive to the basket a little bit as well. A rebounder, solid rebounder, and defensive player could probably fit a lot of different roles. So I would give them Zach Rollins. So there you go.
That's
Lead
a good
Cabela's.
find. And also Lietkabelis only has one American player, so
There you go. There you go.
yeah.
There you go. All right,
The
your turn.
other my team now is Besiktas. The Turkeys are one of the most balanced teams for me in terms of numbers and also quality in its 5 positions. But it seems that something's missing to reach the next level and fight for the top spots, with Pasajesir and Gran Canaria looking practically unreachable at this point for them. Maybe they can fight for the third or fourth place in Group A, and the ideal for them not is it's not, as I said before, a scorer, a player that gives them points only, but I think they have the tools for that, but maybe they are missing opportunities for some of their players. And I explain myself. They don't have any prolific scorer in numbers. They have Jana Matthews, Derek Needham, Killan Martin, Kyle Allman, Connor Morgan. All of them score double digits in average. And it may not be about providing Besiktas with new signings, but rather about somehow readjusting the roles so the players who are showing great offensive efficiency can play more of a role in the second part of the regular season. For me, it's the case of Dustin Sleva. He had no he had not a great start, but he's showing good skills in his first year in EuroCup and a good evolution after his explosion in UCAM Murcia. And Sleva is shooting a 52% from 3 on just only 2.2 attempts per game. And he's not in the group of 5 players with 10 or more points. So maybe there's some readjusting to do, and they need to give players that they already have some opportunities, because Dustin Sleva led UCAM Murcia to the Spanish ACB final, the first final of the club's history against Real Madrid. And they also were in the final four of the BCL, the Basketball Champions League. And he has all the necessary at his 29 years old, if I'm not wrong, or 28. He has all the necessary to be on a great scenario in the EuroCup. and I think something's missing there for him and for Besiktas because they are a great group, but maybe some opportunities are missing for some of their players. So my gift is especially for Dustin Sleva and also to open Besiktas eyes. Yeah.
Okay, so you're giving them um, the mentality to use Dustin
Yeah.
Sleva a little more.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Good.
I'm going to move to Vida, and there's actually a guy that actually I messed up, and I actually took Besiktas. And I was actually going to put him with Besiktas, but he fits okay in Vida. So Vida kind of lacking a little bit inside. I know they've added Andrea Stepjanovic and also last 6 games they've also had Derek Okpidia, but they're still 18th in offensive rebounds, 13th in rebounds, defensive rebounds and 15 total, and 17th in block shots. So they kind of lack that inside force. Um, Besiktas is actually 10th in offensive rebounds, but last in defensive rebounds and total rebounds, and 18th in blocks. So that's why I actually had them for
Mm.
Besiktas. And so he fits actually with Besiktas, but that's okay. The guy's name is Tyshawn Crawford. He's a 29-year-old American, 7'1", so 216, playing with Guangzhou in China. The team is 6-14, 3 games out of the playoff ranks. The team has 4 Americans, so probably he could be had, averaging 7.8 points. So doesn't take part a lot in the offense, 62%. So he'll make his shots. 7.4 rebounds, 3.3 offensive rebounds, and 1.1 blocks. He's an NCAA. He's 25-year-old NCAA 2 guy. Played at Augusta and took them to the final of the D2 in 2022. Played last season his rookie year in Georgia, where he finished first in rebounds and fifth in blocks. And it's his first season in China, so he might not be used to the big money that they could get there. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they can go grab him and put him there. Like I said, it was originally for Besiktas because I'm kind of dumb.
Mm.
But he would kind of fit, 7'1", rebounder and shot blocker would also help out. Would help out Cedevita. It might take a little bit of time away from Juan Berenger, which is the same thing I kind of said with Kerem
Yeah.
Konan. You don't want to take too much time away from him, but Crawford seems like a guy that, it'd be his first chance in the Euro Cup, and you can kind of take advantage of that. So I know Tyson Crawford. Originally, I wanted to give him to Besiktas, but I'm stupid. So, but I'll give him to Cedevita.
Um, for my third take, I'm going to dig in Wolves basketball because I am quite happy with what Wolves is showing in the last few weeks. Although they had 2 losses in the last 3 games, I think they had a great win against Tel Aviv 2 rounds ago, and I think they had an overwhelming reaction after such a bad and disappointing start. Considering the veteran pieces they have and how the players can really show the 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 the, the basketball IQ they have because Wolves have a great coach in Alessandro Magro and maybe they needed some time. So my gift to the Lithuanians is none other than go back in time with their current way of playing and seeing basketball. We would see Wolves possibly in a fight for higher odds instead of fighting to maintain a positive balance and continue in one of the last places of the playoffs. And a mini extra gift that I would give to Alessandro Magro's team is to increase their total points difference because this is something that maybe slips for some people, but Wolves with a minus 55 has a much worse basketball average than their direct rivals, something that could be decisive in case of a tie in the standings at the end of the season. And yeah, if we put these Wolves 2 or 3 months ago, maybe we would see a special team that were like competing against Ulm, Gran Canaria, or Apoel Tel Aviv in higher standards. And yeah, because they had a very very bad start of the season, and they are a different team now, and maybe they would get some opportunities to fight for something good. So for them, my gift is to get back in time and start the season with their actual showcase.
Yeah, I mean, you have those two bad losses,
Yeah.
23, 27 points to Buducnost, and then the last one, 23 points to Ulm. Those hurt. I mean, Ulm
Mhm.
is still, that massive loss. They're 8-4 and they have a -1 because they lost that massive game to Gran Canaria, for example. So any of those big losses, they hit you hard. All right, my gift is going to Cluj, another team that we both really like,
Mm.
and I'm going to give them the Sasu Salin from the Valencia game where he went 6 of 11, and not the Sasu Salin before that, where he was shooting at 34% this season from 3-point range. I think that he and Orlik together are just two massive weapons that if you have them on the court at the same time, sometimes that spreads the floor. Two massive shooters. So I want it, and they're I think they're ranked. I had it just before. I think it was 12th in 3-point percentage. Yeah, 12th at 3-point shooting is under 33%, and with two shooters like Orlik and Salin, that's really not probably where they want to be. And so I'm going to give them these Sasu Salin starting now with the Valencia game for the rest of the season. Okay, maybe not 6-11 every game,
Yeah.
but more of like a three of five, and much more better shooter, which he has been. I'm sure he's been really frustrated this season, him coming out of that slump to go 6 of 11 against Valencia. Of course, they lost to Valencia, but everybody except Elite Cabales has lost to Valencia. So
Incredible.
that's my gift to Cluj.
Yeah, Sasu Salin has a great attitude for competing and not showing bad mood if he's not in scoring a lot. But just to let you know, because I was amazed by Sasu with his 6 3-pointers. Salin came from a 12 out of 41 in triples in his last 7 games. He had 29% in triples before Valencia's game, and he had six. That is his record in 2015, if I'm not wrong. So he came back in time also, and he showed his best from the arc, and he was one of the keys to put Valencia in shakes in the first moment. But yeah, Sasu is a great player, and I look forward to see him in Finland this summer.
Yep, exactly. I mean, he's been a
Yeah.
mainstay for Tenerife,
Hmm.
for 4 years there. Before that in Malaga. So maybe getting used to getting outside of Spain. He's been in Spain since
Mm,
2015. So
exactly.
all right, two more gifts from you.
Yeah. And I go directly to Buducnost for this team, a team that is on the verge of entering in the EuroCup playoffs with a 5-7 record. Uh, Maybe the signing of a creative point guard who is capable of making the attack more homogeneous would be a gift for them. Andrei Sakel has some interesting names at guard positions, such as Rashid Sulaiman, McKinley Wright, Fletcher McGee, Yogi Ferrell, But the reality is that none of them have the characteristic of being a typical point guard, and they fail to find their teammates very often. The first three distribute 3 assists per game. That's not a bad number, but that's not enough if you are looking for a player that provides basketball to the team. That's where they stop. They only have three assists, and that's it. And yeah, this team has the worst assist percentage in Group A, which means that almost half of their points come from unassisted shots. They are depending a lot of in their creative scorers, not in their creative generators. So getting easy baskets in basketball is essential, especially in a sport that is evolving so much and whose scoring projection is on the rise. And it's not just about having scorers, but also pieces that are capable of feeding those gunners. So maybe they need someone to find these Fletcher McGee's, Yogi Ferrells, and more players that they have on the forward or center position to raise their attack. And yeah, for me, it's
So pure pass first
a
point guard.
pure, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. Farrell's a two, plays one. He's
Exactly.
small as well, and Wright, McKinley is, I don't know if he's,
And McGee only shoot.
but yeah, I mean, pass first, definitely would help to set up
Yeah.
guys. Um, all right, I'm going to go to Omana Raya Venice, and they are last in the league in blocks. They have 17 in 12 games, so 1.4. There's three guys, Kyle Alexander, Kurkoth, and Alexa Ilic, all have more per game than them as a team. Fiondu Kamengela is tops with 6 blocks. They're also 14th in steals, and so I am going to go and give them Spencer Schuyler, 30-year-old, 2.6 meter, 6'9", playing with A2, Serie A2 second division Real, Sebastiani Riati, and he's averaging 1.8 blocks per game, 9.6 rebounds, 4.1 offensive rebounds. Second division right now. He played last season with Varese in the FIBA Europe Cup, and 2 years ago played with Trieste and was fifth in the league in blocks. Second division, going from FIBA Europe Cup with Varese to the second division in Italy. I
Mhm.
don't know really necessarily why, but as sort of, you stay in Italy, he would come to Italy. He'd be, come to a different team in Italy. 30-year-old would be able to get to actually the highest level that he's played. Actually, that I'm not 100% sure. I know 2 years ago he played in the FIBA Europe Cup. So that's I'm gonna push to them Spencer Schuyler as an enforcer. Somebody who they don't need him to score necessarily, but really a guy, offensive rebounds, a guy around the basket to impact that team, which I think, with those Canadians, that's somebody that could really help them, I think.
You only come up with interesting names.
I
Uh,
worked for
it,
this. I worked for
yeah,
this.
yeah, it's incredible. And
I'm not going to say I should do this at all for a job, but I did really have fun doing this. It was really
yeah,
a fun challenge for
I'm
me.
sure.
At
I'm
first,
sure.
I said, okay, they need a score, and you're like, well, what does that mean? Try to
Yeah.
find somebody that they could go find. So, all right. So, last one. What's
My
your
last
last
one,
Christmas present?
I think it's the most differential gift, and it's a particular name, and it's Joventut and Sam Dekker.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. I know what you're gonna get.
yeah, finding Dekker as the offensive reference that they needed that much, and he has been very talked about this season in Gone Traveling podcast because his impact in the game of Danny Miret is incredible. The American arrived in Badalona on loan from London Lions, for those who don't know, and his adaptation and reception in the city was incredible differential. Dekker has already had great nights under the tutelage of Miret, and without going any further, and also it's not the EuroCup. Yesterday he scored 30 points. Well, the last ACB League round, he scored 30 points and 8 three-pointers, staying one away from the record to give his team their victory against Coruña. And Dekker arrived in Badalona on temporary loan, and they wanted to keep the player until June 2025, but there were times when that agreement seemed very close, but the American number four will only be able to stay at a few more weeks in the club with a
Well,
temporary.
what is the status of him? Because I'm just looking now, and and all of they said
Yeah,
the short term deal till December 18th, which then
exactly.
obviously over the weekend was even past that. So what is his actual contract status?
I
Do you
don't
know that?
know. I
You
think
don't
it's
know
like
that. Okay.
they conceded some time to Badalona. It was marked December 18, but they didn't specify the time, but they say a few weeks
Okay.
more, maybe until the end of January. I don't know exactly why they don't say the exact date of of the release, but yeah, the contract was until December 18th, and the reality is that Joventut is not capable of paying that salary.
Yeah, and you know what? If they're not,
Yeah,
I mean, they're close to not being in the playoff race in
exactly.
um, in the Euro Cup. And it looks, right now they're at 7-6, right on the edge of the 7-5, right on the edge of the playoffs in the ACB. So if they say, a couple more weeks, we're going to know whether or not we're actually in this race in the Euro Cup. Maybe they go and say, let's save that money. Let's not,
Yeah,
because it's probably not cheap, Decker.
no.
You know, but they
And
are only 2 games behind Wolves. So
yeah, the situation was quite worse before Decker's arrival. So
yeah,
uh, these 2 3 weeks is going to be interesting in market terms for Juventud. I don't know if they are trying to find another name, but that could be like tiring for the other players that they are in the team, and also Danny Miret's figure, because depending on what's next, on who's arriving
well,
with.
Rusic is going to come back too eventually, right? Because he had the thumb surgery,
Yeah,
and they're going to want to play him because he's a draft prospect.
yeah,
And then,
and also they have in Kaiser Gates and Jenny Krag
yeah,
very good names, but they need time because they are quite young, and
yeah.
they you don't have to expect from them consistency or maybe leadership, because you also have great leaders in Vives,
All
Ribas.
those veterans, all those
Yeah,
veterans.
of course. So they have like the perfect balance, but Dekker was like the perfect exact point, like a 30-year-old with in his peak, in his basketball peak, that has all the good from the youngsters and all the good from the veterans,
Yeah.
and it's a pity. So my gift for Juventud was to keep Dekker until the end of the season. Yeah.
Okay. We're running out of time. My last gift is for Aris, and it's a magic potion for chemistry. We
Hmm.
talked about Trey Woodbury last week, last podcast, and he came back. And now there's been 4 games with Sharif Cooper and Darrow Willis. Vasilis Toliopoulos has been out since round 9. He had a calf strain. They said about 3 to 5 weeks, so he should be coming back soon. He averaged 16.1 shots per game until round 9, including 43 pointers in the last 3 games. He shot 18 3 pointers
My
against
God.
Hamburg, and coach loves him. He's the captain. So that's why I say magic potion for chemistry, because how is that going to work we both agree, a
Mhm.
better team right now, Aris, we kind of
Yeah.
said, these guys. And so now how do you work in Toliopoulos back into that mix? Okay, so my gift again, a little magic potion for chemistry. I don't know, man. How do you see this working out? I mean, Doliopis, they love him. The coach loves him. Uh, and like I said, 18 3-pointers against Hamburg. That's not going to fit.
No, no, but you need to think what's first, the chicken or the egg, because how come these 18 three-pointers
Because
come?
there's no other offensive weapons that could help out
Exactly.
score. Yeah,
Exactly. Maybe this is like something that it's not real. And I think the worst scenario is that this is the real tendency because um, you cannot have Tolopoulos that he has been the leader in the offense and one of the players that is capable of scoring. You cannot tell him no. You can't shoot what you were shooting while he was the only one that was scoring. Maybe. I don't know if Sharif Cooper is conscious or aware that who is really Toliopoulos. I don't really don't know.
yeah.
I don't expect him to know him, but this is a coach work to do, and I think they both can find their shots, but maybe the team has to explore new things in terms of rhythm, more possessions, because you have players that can play that way now, and it seems like they are going to get a lot of minutes. So maybe we can see a different play style in Aris now. So it
That's
depends
what
a lot on
that's what
the
it that's what it kind of looks like it's going to be.
yeah,
And the question is if it again, we've been saying it now is like, is it too little, too late, or not too little,
yeah.
but is it too late? I mean, they're still 3 games behind uh three teams in the standings, and one of those teams is not in the playoffs right now. So
They will need to win almost like 6 out of 8. Sorry, like 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6, and expect the other teams to lose. So
well,
it's
they have to actually, they're probably going to have to win more than four. They're going to probably have to go 5-1
yeah,
because
it's
they're going to
funny.
need to get to 8 wins
Yeah,
because you have 3 teams at 6 already and 3 more at 7, and they're going to they absolutely need to get to 8 wins. Fewer than that ain't going to do it. I can't see I can't see 7 wins. I can't even see 7 wins being enough, you know?
it's impossible for me.
Yeah. I mean, you have to get to 8 at the very least, and that's 5-1.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. What was your favorite present?
Sorry?
What was your favorite present?
Mm. I think the, the 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 2 meters 15 centimeters center that you offered that's playing in China is kind of interesting because he's still young. He's from 1999, and I think that type of players can have a um, a great impact because uh, saving the distances, like players like Kabengele that are dominating the paint with their physical ability in EuroCup are key. They are so important in EuroCup, and they also have you just to talk clear, in EuroCup you don't need too much to be differential, and the athleticism is one of them. Players that can dominate the paint are needed. The basketball tendency is changing a lot and things like that with small balls and but Valencia is, for example, that is a great team that is dominating the league, suffers a lot against those type of profiles, and being capable to have one of them as you said, is crucial. For me, that's the one thing. And the other is the magical potion to the chemistry that you mentioned, because it's not a gift maybe, and it's going to be a problem for the coach. So that's the two things for me. Yeah,
And that guy, the Tyshawn Crawford,
exactly.
you know, uh, he, I was looking, okay, where can the guys go from? And then there's the second division guy in Italy, and you're not going to get a guy from a EuroCup team. And I was looking at players in the BCL, and there was one guy with Dashafaka, and because Dashafaka didn't isn't playing internationally or isn't anymore, but like some of the other guys like Galatasaray and some of those teams are still in the competition, still in their competition in the BCL, and so you're not going to get those guys. And where this guy is in he's not on a playoff team in
Hmm.
China, and so and that size, and you don't see that very much. And he's a D2 guy, and those guys have tended to D2, D3 guys always have like a chip on their shoulder. No Division One. I think there's like 300 Division One schools. Nobody gave me a contract. No gave me a scholarship, and I went to D2. And so I thought, that'd be fun. But it was fun. It was cool. So this obviously is coming out on Christmas. We wish everybody a wonderful Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas. We will have a podcast. The next podcast will actually be next year, and it'll be coming out over the weekend of the, what is that, the third, fourth, fifth, something like that.
Yeah.
Fourth, fifth, because there's games on the Thursday, Friday, the second and third. And so we will record sometime over that weekend, the fourth and fifth. So that's next time you'll hear from us. So this is our last podcast of the year. Um, Anything else from you, Mr. Llebres?
No, only wishing a great and happy year for everyone, and also have
Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
how to say it in German.
Frohe Weihnachten. Frohe Weihnachten.
Frohe Weihnachten.
And they say in here a good slide, ein guten Rutsch, a good slide into 2025. I'm not gonna, so a Happy New Year
Yeah.
in Spanish.
Feliz Año Nuevo. Feliz Año Nuevo.
Okay,
Happy
all
New
right.
Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. This has been the Gone Traveling podcast, looking at the BKT EuroCup. Sergio, Llebres, and I were playing Santa Claus, handing out some gifts for the Road to Greatness teams looking for the title. We are out. Talk to you next year. Ho, 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 and happy start of 2025.